Okay.
Hey, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
All these millionaires. I hope this isn't a conversation someone had lined up. All these millionaires and billionaires going up to space, and all these people making the same jokes about how Jeff Bezos is Dr. Evil. You know, yeah, the resemblance is there, but someone's already done the joke. Guys, I don't need
the
a million
rocket did look
times.
like a penis.
It did look like a penis.
It did, yeah.
But I don't need the entire population of the North America telling me that, oh, it's a penis and also he's bald. Thanks, I got that the first time.
I think the part about it that blew my mind the most is just like, I looked at the rocket and like, I've seen rockets before and I've never seen one that looks like that. It's like, this was a deliberate choice.
It looked like they chose to make it be a penis. Yeah, because everyone's seen a space rocket before.
We've seen a rocket. We know how they look like generally.
You wouldn't think that like the one that's like, I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not like an aerophysicist or whatever, but that shape at the top isn't like dynamic, right? Because you have to have the wind like fly off of it. It's to like slide around and it going on a maybe it's like, oh, it takes the stress off. I don't know. I just know it looked like a dick. It really did. It's I know a rocket when I see one. I know a dick when I see one.
That, sir, is not a rocket. It's a rocket, but not the right one. All right, I'm ready to start the show now.
Wait. The name of it was like the Blue something, right?
Oh, I don't know the name.
The company's Blue Origin.
Blue Origin, making a rocket that's like a giant dick with two. It even had like tiny little testicles at the bottom.
Tiny balls. Some Blue Origin balls at the bottom.
Blue Origin balls. All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Good Comedy Podcast, the podcast where we talk about stuff and John has segments. I'm Colin.
I'm John, and how about that weather?
And then our special guest today.
I'm Drew. Hello.
Drew is our first repeat that we brought on
historical
after we were canceled on by someone, and we decided to bring Drew on because our footage didn't get recorded last time he was on, so it's a repeat.
How's it feel, Drew?
I'm honored. I'm glad to be here.
We're honored to have you. We've got a big show. I've heard. Lots of
Conan
important
O'Brien.
things. Got a great show for you tonight.
Big show tonight. Big show.
First, these messages. Viagra.
The harmonica just didn't come up in Discord because of the Discord's compression.
Yeah, that happens every single time. He'll be like, "Time for new segment." Don't worry, Audacity got it.
One of these days, I'm just not going to blow, and then you'll have to guess which times I'm actually playing. What do we got? We usually start with the news. What's in the news, folks?
I don't know. What is in the news? It's been boring recently, right?
It has been quite boring, yeah.
I don't know. Let's see here.
I'm trying to look through movie news. Everyone's just waiting for Dune to come out to see what happens with that.
Yeah, it's finally come. A year has passed. Timothy Chalamet has grown facial hair. And finally Dune is coming out in theaters in October. How do we feel about that?
I thought it looked weird as hell when I first saw the trailer, and it still does.
Have either of you read the books?
I've not.
I have it literally on my nightstand, but I haven't touched it yet.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a big one. It's, you know, it's hard to write. It's a bunch of like super smart characters trying to outthink each other, and it feels like sometimes, at least in the book, the author is very intelligent, but he writes characters who are hyper intelligent, and it seems like that he couldn't like thread that needle perfectly with his level of intelligence. So like there's this child, Paul, who's played by Timothy, and he's supposed to be like super intelligent, super just can see into the future. He's so smart. And then they go onto this desert planet where there's these sandworms, and they're scouting it out, and they see these sandworms, and somebody's like, and Timothy's like, has anyone tried to kill these sandworms that are causing such a problem? And everyone like in their internal monologue is like, holy shit, this kid is thinking like a man. But that's like anyone's first thought, right? Like, how can we extinguish these giant worms that are trying to destroy our society?
Has anyone tried bullets?
Oh my god, he's a genius. I don't know. It should be good.
Speaking of Timothy, when's that Wes Anderson movie that come out that also got delayed?
I don't know. Is that this year too?
I don't know. It was supposed to come out, I think, like first quarter of this year, but then it got like super delayed because of COVID stuff, and like I haven't seen anything about it since.
What is it called? The French Dispatch?
The French Dispatch or French something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it should be coming out this year. I don't know
that
when.
movie looked really good. I was excited for that movie.
For sure. How do you feel about Wes Anderson, Colin?
Honestly, I haven't watched a lot of Wes Anderson films.
So. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, I guess I've seen that one.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
No, I haven't seen that one.
That one's a good one.
Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson were like high school buddies, and now look where they're at. Big director. Owen Wilson's in Loki, so that's the height of his career.
Did you guys watch Loki?
Dude, I love Owen Wilson
in Lightning
Loki.
McQueen.
That's true.
That's true. I always forget that.
He has literally the biggest set for a roller coaster in Disneyland. It's huge.
Just I say I forget that, but I think I only learned that like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Because like I hadn't seen that movie since I was a kid. When I was a kid, like I didn't know who Owen Wilson was, and then like for some reason we pulled up like a Cars clip on YouTube, and I was like, is that Owen Wilson?
Wow. Yeah, it's funny that they made a note to tell everyone that Owen Wilson doesn't say wow in Loki, and it's true, he doesn't. Not once.
That's true, yeah. People on Reddit really wanted him to. They would not stop talking about it.
Am I the only one who thinks like maybe Owen Wilson like was the best part of that series?
Oh, absolutely, he was.
Yeah,
he was really good. No, like not spoiling the series. I thought that series was really like mediocre until like the last episode. And the last episode wasn't even like an amazing episode. It was just like it set up so much that it was like exciting, I guess.
Like when it comes to like the MCU, I like the weird stuff way more than I like the just boring punchy stuff.
Yeah. I would tend to agree, but also Captain America Winter Soldier is probably my favorite MCU movie.
That's a good
People
that's
say
a big
that
popular one.
A lot. Even that's what Kaylin thinks too, but I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do the we're just guys and we're here to punch movies.
I think Winter Soldier's like not just that though, because Winter Soldier's more like a spy movie than like a fighting movie. I would say almost.
I hear that a lot, and I do not agree with that at all. I do not think it is a spy movie. It is an action movie. It is literally an act. It's more like Mission Impossible, but like without a lot of the spy elements. It's like just the action bits.
Yeah.
They're not really doing any spying. They hide once, like in plain sight, like once, and then
they find a hat somewhere and put it on. Who is that in the hat? I can't recognize him. But yeah, that was a good note about just a bunch of guys punching each other. I don't know if either of you, Colin, I think you've seen Black Widow, but those opening, the Marvel scroll going into Black Widow, it's drastically like stark just how many beefy dudes there are in the MCU and how there aren't very many like female superheroes to be put into the scroll, and it's like, oh man, we need more.
Yeah.
Hello, Felix.
It's weird. Also, Black Widow's strange. I don't know why. She's the worst part of her own movie, just because Black Widow's lame.
I've yet to watch that movie, and I'm honestly not very pumped about it.
It's not lame. She's a really great character.
Okay,
Scarlett Johansson.
but she's lame. Okay, but yes, Scarlett Johansson is lame and not a very good actor, and also like she can't do any action scenes. So every time Black Widow does any sort of action, there's like 17 cuts of her like flipping a dude around, and then she has nothing. She just said, "I'm gonna punch you, superhero."
The best thing that Black Widow ever did was in her first appearance in Iron Man 2, like that hallway scene towards the end of the movie. Like that was awesome, and then they just like never matched that.
Well, no, they matched that. That's the only thing she ever did forever. It's like,
oh yeah,
she just kept doing the Iron Man 2 hallway screen until she was dead.
It was such a great introduction, and then they just kind of rolled with it.
They're just like, this is what this character does forever. The next like 6 years, you're gonna watch this character just flip around people, and then she's gonna be dead.
Do you guys think that No Way Home's gonna be the multiverse movie that everyone thinks it will, with all the former Spider-Men?
No. No way. Because Andrew Garfield and the other guy, I forget his name. They're gonna show up right at the end.
I agree. I think they'll show up like towards the end, maybe have like one action sequence towards the end.
Yes.
And I think if they do a Spider-Man 4 though, it could be like,
it's possible,
and like an all out with all of them, because I think they'd both be excited to do the role. I just don't think that like they've really introduced this current Spider-Man enough to be like, and here's 2 more.
Yeah. It is really banking on franchise, right? That's what it is. It's like all these previous Spider-Man franchises, it's like, you know who Spider-Man is. We don't have to do the work because you already know. And in some ways I appreciate that this is the one iteration of Spider-Man where we don't have to watch the fucking uncle die again.
It's going to be interesting for sure, because for those who don't have Disney Plus and haven't been introduced to the concepts introduced by Loki, this is probably the movie that will introduce more of the multiverse stuff to audiences, and it's going to be interesting how they handle that.
Well, this one...
There was like an article that I read that was like, I would love for No Way Home to be this big multiverse movie that everyone wants, but like, it's the first like movie that's going to be addressing the multiverse at all. It's like they're going to have to explain the whole multiverse. They're going to have to develop what's his name? Tom Holland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to develop his character more, and then if they're going to like add in this whole other plot with like all these old villains of Spider-Man, he's like, that'd be great, but that'd also be a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, it's going to be a cluster, which is going to be, I don't know. The multiverse thing's weird, right? Because I did see a reviewer say this, and I agree with it, that like this is going to be like a much different villain than like Thanos.
Yeah.
And it has the potential of being a villain that's much more present than Thanos.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, because he's already cast in Ant-Man, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Because he is like, because he in the comics and stuff, apparently he's very related to like, he's like a scientist, right? He says that he's like, I'm a scientist, and he's very related to things like Fantastic Four and
I think because he's already cast in Ant-Man and I think maybe one other movie, and then also they added Tom Hiddleston to the Doctor Strange cast too.
Yeah,
the new Doctor
so
Strange.
it seems like they're really gonna bank on multiverse.
Yeah,
wow,
which
really
I think will be cool. It'll be different.
Loki
because honestly, like after. He really is. After Endgame, honestly, I was like, that was awesome. And I think I've had enough.
But
that's
like,
the thing. Honestly, I'm like reinterested
That's
now.
the thing. But this is like the point, right? Because Black Widow bombed. And people are saying, is the market gonna, like, now the speculation's up of whether this is it? Like, this is like,
no,
it's peaked.
There's no way.
Maybe. It's honestly, it's too early to tell, but also people are like, well, the market was literally gone for like a year. Like, you had like 3 Marvel movies coming out in a year, then a year with nothing, and then at that point, like, the question is the market moving on? Like, what's going on?
I think Black Widow bombed because it's a mediocre movie that isn't gonna matter in the grand scheme of things, because it's set like way in the past, and also it was supposed to come out a year ago, and then it didn't, and then they bombed the marketing the second time around.
I don't know. They introduced Florence Pugh's Black Widow, and that could be pretty cool.
I think a big problem they have too is now all their big cast are fucking C-list superheroes that no one gives a shit about. And like Guardians of the Galaxy would not have even been thought of like even close to the top of like popularity in Marvel, and now it has its own Disneyland ride.
If it wasn't in the MCU, people would have seen that trailer and been like, fuck that.
Yeah. But like, so Disney's gotten lucky that these unpopular people are like being made popular by their films, but I think
they found the right actors to play them,
it's like a bit.
They did.
I think it's a bit. I don't know if they think that they can just keep doing that. I think they're wrong, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier made me not get like. I couldn't watch that show. Kaylin hated it. Like, it's just like, these are. No one gives a shit about these people anymore. It like,
definitely feels like
all we're left now is the supporting cast, like the sidekicks. It's literally like all the MCU now is the sidekicks.
I think that show's biggest problem too is that like it literally changed nothing. Like WandaVision, like introduced like her kids and like maybe introduced White Vision, or maybe Vision's back, who's to say.
Yeah.
And then like Loki like obviously introduced a lot of stuff, and then that show was like, yeah, if you didn't watch this show, you know that he was going to be Captain America at the end of Endgame, and if you watch this show, you know that he decided not to be, but then he does decide to be. So it changes nothing if you don't watch the show.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
It's definitely
it's
like
so
closing
boring.
up.
It's like the boring Marvel punch. We're gonna fly around the world. Punch.
Did you see Don Cheadle got an Emmy nomination for his like 2-minute scene in that show where he just walked around the fucking museum with Falcon?
What?
Wow.
Yeah, he got an Emmy nomination for like
stuff
best supporting character.
Ridiculous. I have my own thoughts about like The Mandalorian and how much of that shit it deserved, but you know.
Well, we can do a hot take corner.
Hot take corner. Hot take corner.
Hot take corner.
The end of Mandalorian season 2 and sort of the vibe of Mandalorian season 2 as a whole, I feel, is showing the fucking cracks and almost like the death bell for a lot of Star Wars media, especially now that I've watched Bad Batch, because Bad Batch is horrible, and it is literally, I hate it. It's literally just a fucking cameo. It's a cameo wagon. Okay, so in Mandalorian season 2 they start doing the cameo shit. In season 1 it was just all new, and then season 2 is like, we're gonna bring in people from other series and the greater whole of Star Wars, and we're gonna touch the Mandalorian. And the more we touch it, the more it becomes a main Star Wars story, and the more that it becomes confusing and weird and not making any sense. And Luke Skywalker is going to show up at the end, and he's going to steal the other protagonist from the show, and he's going to be gone from the show now. And then Bad Batch is literally just like hero of the fucking week. It's right. Literally like if you watch Clone Wars, it's like Clone Wars or Rebels. It's like Dave Filoni jerking off his own shows, because he's just like, do you remember all these characters that I made from these other shows? You get to see them all, even though it makes no sense. Every week, the galaxy gets smaller and smaller and all the characters meet each other.
I've never seen Bad Batch, and I'm not really familiar with the concept other than it's the clones that are after the Empire, right? Or
no,
during
they're
the
just
Empire?
they're defective. They're defective clones. They're like genetic.
Oh, they've got something.
They're like genetic differences, and their chips fucking malfunction during Order 66, so they don't.
Oh.
So they have to like run, but one of their chips did work, so he's a bad guy now. And there's a Boba Fett's sister. That's a thing. Boba Fett's sister.
Yeah, I wish we had that introduced during the Clone Wars episode 2.
Boba Fett has a sister. There's a female clone that's like a child, like the same age as like Boba Fett at this point. I think she's younger.
Still identical.
Like, they were made in the same way, so they're like brother sister.
That would have come up before.
Yep. No,
that's crazy.
Star Wars is just about adding more bullshit to the stuff we already know. There can be nothing new. It's just like constantly just you have to relive the same things over and over, and no one can ever die. If you've died in Star Wars, that's the most merciful thing that's ever happened to your character.
That's the goal, the true goal in the Star Wars universe is how can I truly die?
I'm still waiting for Mace Windu to come back. And I talked about this with Landon on his podcast, is I'm still waiting for that moment he walks through that fucking door, because he fell. And if you fall in Star Wars, you're still alive. That's the rule. If you fell. Darth Maul fell. Boba Fett, he fell into a pit. He came back. Palpatine fell into a hole and exploded, and he survived.
You could write a thesis about this.
Every time I finish like a Star Wars movie, my overwhelming thought is just that it has so much potential, that universe, and they just can't live up to it.
No, it's big, and you can like look into like extended universe stuff and be like, wow, isn't that so cool? Isn't it so lame that anything that ever shows up on screen on Star Wars is so limiting and like small, and all the characters are constantly meeting each other, and there's no new stories ever told. Yeah, it's season 3 is weird. I have no idea what that's gonna be, but it's probably gonna be a little not as good.
I always I have very hot Star Wars takes. One of my favorite Star Wars movies, I don't even really know the names of them, but the second prequel is like up there for me as one of my favorite ones.
Attack of the Clones. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just like I don't think any of like the overall trilogy stories are like that great. And so in that one, you just watch hot people make really stupid decisions, and like you can just like watch it in real time, like their lives go to shit, and I love it.
I think, that is the sort of the disaster movie, right? Where it's like, wow, everything that happened in this movie was bad for everyone.
To cut the pear.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
I love cutting the force pear.
The force
CG pear was a trip for sure.
Because like it's one thing to use the force to cut anything, and second of all, like who cuts a pear like that?
I will give it this.
This is far too large for me to eat.
Everyone who died in I guess that would just be like Jango Fett, but he didn't come back because
that's true.
Here's the thing about Jango Fett's death that I think is I think it's supposed to be sort of an ironic death, because if you pay close attention, he actually dies because his jetpack malfunctions and he's not able to take off before Mace Windu gets him, so he like dies in the same way as his son with a jetpack malfunction. So I'll give it that, but also like it's not nod. Clear at all.
Yeah, that's a subtle enough nod where it's not like just fan service. It's just like, oh, he never fixed his jetpack, so
this fucking jetpack kills 2 generations.
That was something that blew my mind when we watched those movies, because like I really hadn't like I'd seen most of the Star Wars movies, but I'd like not like paid attention to them or like all the way through, and then we watched them like a few months ago. And like one of the things that blew my mind the most is like those 2 characters are like some of the most talked about characters, and they both did like fuck all.
Yeah.
They were both like on screen for like 3 relevant minutes.
That's what The Mandalorian was for, apparently. Season 2 is just the rehabilitation of Boba Fett, except when they brought him back, he just did the same thing. He was just standing there doing nothing. He like got in one fight, and then he was just like, I'm just gonna pilot the ship now. It's me, cool Boba Fett, everyone loves.
See you later.
And my show is going to be the gritty Star Wars show, even though that's what they said The Mandalorian was going to be.
I'm off to go get a superhero buff now.
Yeah.
See you in a few months.
Like, I'm going to go be evil, even though I'd be great as like an antagonist in this show. Bye. I'm my own IP, so I can go off and do something else. Sorry.
And that's been Star Wars Hot Takes.
Yeah. All right.
How are we feeling? What do we got?
Do we have a segment?
Let's do Guest Corner.
Okay.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
What's up?
You're the guest.
Yeah, you have a segment.
Welcome.
Hello.
You got one? You got something for us?
Oh, okay.
Take it away, bud.
I've got a follow-up to so last time I was here, we talked about the new Space Jam movie, which came out now.
Yes.
Oh, it went away. It went away. Hold on. And this is just really off the cusp, but I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and I found this guy's tweet, and it says, in honor of the Space Jam sequel, I'm happy to share my research project, the original draft of the first film as written by Michael Jordan. And I'm pretty sure it's fake. I'm pretty sure this guy wrote it himself. But if he did, it's dedication, because it's a Google Drive PDF, and it's a 121-page like draft of Space Jam.
Wow.
Complete with like editor's notes. Like someone like had like he took like printed this off, like took a pen, wrote editor's notes, and then like scanned it back in. And it's just awesome. There's lines in here such as Michael is tied up, about to be frozen forever by the star mons in a very cold liquid. And then the lines are, Lola Bunny, I love you, Michael. I know, slut. And then the editor's note is a little dash next to it and just says, no.
Excuse me?
And it just goes
Michael.
Like off the rails. Like there's this one where it's like Porky Pig is asking Michael Jordan why he's not playing right. And Michael's like, I've got the flu. And then Porky Pig's like, I mean, we all saw you drinking hooch and shooting guns at 5 a.m. this morning.
What the fuck? Wait, when was this draft made? When was this?
It was tweeted a few days ago, and it's not a very popular tweet, and I don't know how. And like, here's one, I'll just show the camera, where it's just like they wrote something and then it's blacked out completely, and then the editor's note is just relevance.
Oh my
and
God.
it's like an entire spec script, and it just is insane.
If that's a joke, that's some real dedication for the joke, you know?
I want it to be real so bad, but I don't think it is.
I think they had toyed around with, like, even back when Space Jam first came out with sequels, and they were toying around with, like, other sports they could do it with. And I don't remember where I heard this, but they were going to do a NASCAR Space Jam and call it, like, Race Jam. Which would have been
honestly,
a horrible choice.
Better than what they released.
Welcome
Race Jam
to the Race Jam.
Just like such a unfortunate title there. Like, no wonder it didn't get made.
That keeps the basketball part of the name and removes the space part of the name too.
Yep.
But there's no Looney Tunes and no space. It's just like them playing basketball and NASCARs. Like they have to dribble out of the window while they're like.
It's just Rocket League but basketball.
Okay, I'm taking charge.
Okay. Oh God.
Welcome to the Mystery Corner, where you two sit awkwardly and listen to me read a mystery that you need to solve from my Mystery Corner book. Thank you, Mini Mysteries. Today's mystery.
Last time we did this, it was in 3 parts. And
it was in 3 parts.
Landon and I got it after he read the first part.
We can certainly. Well, I'll find a good stopping point for this one. I don't think you're gonna get it as easily.
Okay.
But we'll see. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So, this mystery is The Candy Shop Caper by Michael D'Angana. Sorry about the last name. Thank you, Michael.
Watching.
The Candy Shop Caper. The sleet was like needles against my face as I crossed the street to Seagram's Sweet Shop. I remembered coming here as a kid, sampling all the goodies they offered, but I never imagined I'd be here as a detective investigating a crime. I entered the back door and squeezed past bags of sugar that lined the hallway to the owner's office. "Good morning, Mr. Segan. I'm Detective Sanders. You reported a theft that happened last night?" The elderly gentleman nodded. "It's just horrible. Yesterday's cash deposit was ready for the bank," he said. I always leave it ready on my desk." Sorry, there's a lawnmower guy right in front of me. I don't know if you can hear that. Where was I? Shit. I always leave it ready on my desk with my office door locked. I worked late last night, and when I came back this morning, my door was pried open and the cash was gone. "Do you have a night crew here?" I asked as he offered me a bonbon. "Yes, a very small one. Only 3 people. My chocolatier, my sugar artist, and my warehouse manager. But they've been with me for years. I can't imagine any of them stealing." "You can't rule anyone out," I cautioned. "Are they here now?" "Yes. As soon as I discovered a theft, I called everyone back to the shop." He scurried out, and within seconds, the sugar artist entered. Thoughts so far? How we feeling?
I soaked up some information, I guess.
Okay, so we're in a sugar shop. There's 3 culprits.
I'm thinking about those sugar bags in the hallway.
Drew, how are you feeling?
Is it possible that it's an inside job? Is it like an insurance scam?
Yeah. Keep exploring that idea. All right. Excuse me. I began to speak, but my words were cut off. "First off," she interrupted, "I didn't steal anything. And second, I'm an artist. My love is creating. I have no interest in that old man's cash." "Okay. Well, did you hear or see anything out of the ordinary last night?" I asked patiently. "Only if you call blasting rock and roll music all night from the production room out of the ordinary. Maybe you should speak to John Paul, our stuck-in-the-rock era chocolate guy." "Would you please send him in?" I asked, jotting down notes. Is that the one? Was she the one?
Why do they have a production room?
For the candies, for the sweets.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like a radio or film production.
Blasting rock and roll music.
John Paul. It's not even. It's spelled JOHN Paul instead of like
Jean
JEAN. Yeah. Okay. Would you please send him in? I asked Johnny down notes. "Sure thing," she said, sashaying out of the room. Soon, a ponytailed man appeared, complete with a bandana on his brow and a torn concert tee. "Sir, I was told you were blasting music while you worked last night," I began. "Yeah, I always do. Is that a crime now?" "Did I wake the neighbors?" He chuckled, but soon stopped after noticing there was no smile on my face. "No, but playing loud music would drown out someone trying to smash through a door, wouldn't it?" I asked. "Listen, I was in the production room all night. I play music all the time. Arrest me if you want, otherwise leave me alone. With that, he slammed through the double doors. Have we found our culprit?
I don't think it's him.
Interesting. Drew?
It's probably not even one of them.
If it's one of those two, I'd say the sugar one, just because of the way she very meanly referred to him as old man.
I think the thing about the last one is these mysteries are really about misdirection, about giving you a lot of things that could be clues but aren't really clues.
That's true.
And that you usually just have to try and find the one thing that kind of sticks out.
Yeah. Well, let's clear our minds. We've got one more culprit to interrogate. Here we go. With that, he slammed through the double doors. What a bunch of sour people in such a sweet place, I thought. Checking my notes. Only the warehouse manager remained. Sir, would you mind retracing your steps here last night, I asked. Of course not. Please, follow me into the freezer for a moment, and I'll show you what happened. As we walked into the freezer, my foot squelched into a liquid chocolate. He sighed. It was around midnight when I began to stock the freezer from an earlier delivery, the manager said. I was just about done when I tried to place this bucket of molten chocolate on an upper shelf. The lid popped off and it all fell on my head, covering me, and as you can see, the floor. I couldn't work like that, and since I had nothing else pending, I left early. I was surprised when I got the call to come back this morning. Thank you. I have no more questions, I said, dismissing him and going to find the owner once again. Good news, sir, I smiled. I've found the thief. Who took the money?
I'm caught up on the fact that if it was molten chocolate, this guy should be covered in third-degree burns.
Molten chocolate. Yeah.
I think he didn't think that through. He took the money and he just dumped the chocolate on the floor and said it fell on him.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think that's too easy. I think she's the sugar sculptor, right?
Let's see. They've got... Yes,
could it be the old guy, though? We definitely missed something.
Money was stolen.
Is it the guy who delivered the chocolate earlier? Does the delivery man count as a playable
The culprits are the chocolatier, the sugar artist, and the warehouse manager. The sugar artist was the lady who doesn't like the loud rock and roll. Mm-hmm. The warehouse manager is the guy who...
The burned victim.
And then the chocolatier...
Is the rock and roll guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. We definitely missed something, and it's probably not any one of those three. But I'm going to say it's the sugar lady.
Sugar lady. We got one sugar lady and one...
I think warehouse manager.
Well, congratulations, detective. The warehouse manager did steal the money. He lied about leaving earlier because chocolate placed in a freezer would be rock solid and not remain in a liquid state.
Oh, okay.
So that one was a little bit trickier.
That one was
Colin?
a little... That's it?
Welcome, and that's the end of the
but why does that one
corner.
lie mean that he stole money?
Yeah,
though?
I thought he like...
Maybe he's just bad at his job.
I thought he brought it into the freezer and then it like fell onto him before it could cool. I don't know.
But I think the thing is that it was still liquid when the detective stepped in it.
Yes, it's been hours.
Wait. Okay. Interesting. All right.
Listen,
I still don't. I don't get how that means that he stole money though. He could just have been like bad at his job and been like, "Oh God, I got to cover my tracks."
Yeah, this detective was very much like Sherlock, trying to be like Sherlock Holmes, where he's like, "Oh, you've got chips where you plug your phone in at night because your brother's an alcoholic." It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Vigilante justice. Hang him.
Anyways, that's been Mystery Corner. Congratulations. Well done. Anything else? Do we have anything else pressing? Or should we get to the main event?
Honestly, we could probably just go to the main event.
All right, Drew. I'm gonna give you the option to fill out either protagonist, antagonist, genre, or theme. 2 of those.
Okay.
That's protagonist, antagonist, genre, or theme.
Let's go horror for genre.
Okay.
And
we've got protagonist, antagonist, or theme.
Let's do in honor of all the Mario Golf that I've been playing. Let's do the antagonist is specifically the Golf Wario with his flannel and cowboy hat get up.
Golf Wario. Ooh. I've heard many tales. Okay. Great. I'll wave back, Colin. Welcome back, Colin. We've got 2 more prompts for you. We've got protagonist and theme.
Do I take my headphones off?
No, you're fine.
Okay. I was like, wait, we already did the first half.
Yep.
Protagonist and theme. The protagonist is, let's see.
Be very careful with your choice.
Yeah.
Whoever you pick is going to have a film worth of suffering ahead of them.
Okay. The film, the protagonist will be. Let's see. I can't think of anything. It's gonna be a samurai.
Samurai. Okay. Awesome.
And
awesome.
And the theme is never let your children out of your sight.
Ooh. Let children. Is that a reference, perchance, to Disneyland?
No,
I don't know if you've ever been to Disneyland where you go on a ride and you're always just, they blast over the intercom, don't forget to watch your kids. Of your sight. Okay. Guys, I think we've got a great film ahead of us. This story we're about to create is about a samurai versus Golf Wario in the Olympics. It's a horror, and the conflict is it's the end of the world. But somehow they learn to never let their children out of their sight.
And they're at the Olympics.
Yeah.
At the end of the world.
Yep. At the Olympics, at the end of the world.
Welcome to the last Olympics.
They already know.
Yeah.
So who is this samurai? What makes him tick?
His kids.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
His kids are maybe contestants of the Olympics or going to watch the Olympics.
I think Wario has his kids. Wario steals the kids at the beginning.
Steals them?
Yeah, and it's like, I'll give them back to you if you can beat me at golf. At the Olympics.
This is just Space Jam.
What's the horror element to this?
The golf course is haunted.
That's good. I like that.
How is the world ending? Is there just like a meteor in the sky that everyone can see?
Well, I'm not too familiar with how Golf Mario works. Do worlds end in the golf game, Drew?
I don't think they necessarily end.
All world governments are collapsing, but they already scheduled the Olympics, so they thought they would go ahead and just do it.
Yeah.
This is their last show of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah, some unnamed virus is tearing through humanity, and yet that's a little too relevant, maybe. Okay. What if he has to get birdies? Is that the best score you can get on a hole?
That's one under par.
You could get
there's
an
eagles, there's albatrosses.
An eagle. Okay, he has to get an eagle in like all of the holes. Otherwise, Golf Wario is going to knock the Earth out of existence with a giant space golf club that he has created.
He's gonna knock it into the sun. He's gonna golf the Earth into the sun.
And also Samurai's kids?
Yeah,
the world is all of Samurai's children.
Maybe like he loses because he let his kids out of his sight, and then he his mind was on that. He's like, where are the kids? Where are the kids?
Mm-hmm.
And if he'd just kept track of the kids, he could have won.
Yeah, I think that's a good movie right there. What's the?
It's a really bad end. It's a really pessimistic ending where the world does end and Wario wins.
That's just such a good twist, though. Like you wouldn't expect them to lose.
Sorry, Samurai. I'm the one with brand recognition. Shoot him into the sun.
Yeah, they need Wario for the sequel more than they need the Samurai.
Yep. What should we title this horrific movie?
Hole in Sun.
Hole in Sun is a hole in one, my dude. That's wonderful. That's so good. Oh my god.
Okay, I have one too.
Okay.
Samurai Wario.
Hole in Sun, Samurai Wario. That's amazing. Okay. What's the tagline? Or is Samurai Wario the tagline? No. Light the torch.
Earth becomes the Olympic torch.
Light in. No, you go ahead.
I don't have anything.
Lighting up the world. With the sun. Light the torch or get burned.
I know we already did the hole in one joke, but it could just be called Ronin 1.
Ronin 1. Hole in one, Samurai Warrior, Ronin 1.
There's a hole in one reference in both the title and the tagline.
Really scraping the barrel.
The poster is covered in puns.
Wario.
Wario. Samurai Wario. Wario. Incredible. Wow. That was a tough one. That was a tough movie to break. But the title really makes up for it.
Yeah.
Well done, folks.
All right.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you, listeners, for listening to another chaotic good comedy podcast. Drew, we'd like to thank our special guest, which is Drew. Drew, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
We stream at FISHinc on Twitch. Same as our YouTube. That's pretty much all we do. We're lazy content creators. We let the games do the work for us.
All right. Anything else? You got anything to add, John?
Hey guys, if you like what you see, we got a Patreon. If you also like what you see, we've got social medias. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're also on TikTok, but not really. I'm going to be better at that. Check us out. Give us a follow. If you like and send us a message on the bottom of our YouTubes. We enjoy that as well. So
check out our latest video about a fucked up horse.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So I guess if that's it, thank you all for listening, and have a happy birthday. Goodbye.